Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our today's Food Expert Talk. First, I would like to introduce you my colleagues that are with me today, Mr. Francesco Garsari and Miss Linda Passmore. My name is Giuseppina Menconi. I will be a speaker and also the moderator for today's session. So, accordingly to the Harvard model of HR management, worker well-being is critical to sustain the performance of an organization. At the same time, while the workplace well-being relates to all aspects of the working life, the International Labour Organization recommends focusing our attentions on the way in which employees could enhance nutrition of their workforces. So today, in our discussion, we would like to focus on the Mediterranean diet and learn how it could improve the well-being of employees. In order to do so, we will be addressing the following 3 points. First of all, we will be looking at the historical origins of the Mediterranean diet in relation to the ideas of food philosophy and the evolution of the concept of food over time. We will then move on to talk about the key nutritional characteristics of the Mediterranean diet. And finally, we will look at which Mediterranean diet-based health initiatives have been developed by food professionals to enhance the employees' well-being in organizations. So I would like to start our discussion today by talking about the roots of the Mediterranean diet, which can indeed be found in antiquity. Since its origin, in fact, the Mediterranean diet was based on the food available in the countries surrounding the Mediterranean basins, which were considered as the cradle of civilization. And since this geographical area was characterized by the presence of several civilizations, also the use of ingredients varied due to the different eating habits, the historical period, the agricultural production of these areas, and the seasonality of the food. As you may have noticed, I just said historical period because if we look back at the work of Plato, the ancient Greek philosopher, in his work, he was explaining how the food is a primary need, both for our body and for our souls, but always if consumed in moderation. Plato was also explaining how a moderate and thus healthy diet consists of cereals, legumes, fruit, milk, honey, and meat and wine instead should have been consumed only in moderate quantities in order to avoid illnesses. If we instead look at the Roman times, we can also find indication recommending the consumption of ingredients such as bread, oil, and even wine, but only, again, small amount of meat product. Despite the influences from different cultures, the concept of moderation for healthy living remained a keyword throughout the time, till to arrive to our days. So, after what I just said, if we want to list the key elements of the Mediterranean diet, we can say preference for vegetable ingredients, variety, and moderation. But also, we cannot forget the sense of identity associated to this diet, as well as the enjoyment. 2 dimensions of the food in the Mediterranean diet that are very important for our discussion today. In fact, in this moment of multicultural experiences, food is helping us to show that we exist, that we have an identity, we are part of a community, and that through food, we can also connect. In fact, since the history of humankind, eating alone has never been considered something normal, particularly at the workplace. And if we look at the guidelines of the Mediterranean diet across the times, to consume meals with people is at the base of it. So in order to conclude my contribution today, I can say that throughout history, food in general, and more specifically the Mediterranean diet, has been one of the most important catalysts for human aggregation, friendship, and ultimate connection. It then follows how food in organizational cultures today then should not only be considered food, but rather a language that must speak for healthy living, inclusion, and a common sense of purpose. So now that we learned about the history of the Mediterranean diet, let's move to our colleague, Francesco, to learn more about the nutritional aspect of the Mediterranean diet. Francesco, would you like to share your views?
Thank you for the introduction, Giusy. Indeed, the Mediterranean diet is one of the most cited for its beneficial characteristics for the body and the general well-being. And it is widely associated with countless health benefits, especially in preventing cancer, cardiovascular, and other diseases. At the same time, preparing and choosing ingredients based on this model brings enormous benefit from the point of view of sustainability, as promotes the use of seasonal and local products. In short, this type of diet, while is more appropriate to speak of a lifestyle, promote essentially plenty of plant-based food, vegetable, fresh and dried fruit, pulses, bread, cereal and pasta, all preferably whole grains and not refined. A use of extra virgin olive oil, ideally raw in moderate quantities, limit the consumption of red meat and moderate the consumption of white fish and eggs. A daily consumption of low-fat milk and dairy products. And regarding the spices and aromatic herbs, they can help reducing the use of salt and other fatty condiments. At the same time, following this diet help to reduce the consumption of sweets and products rich in added sugar. So more specifically, from a nutritional point of view, this dietary pattern guarantees our organism a moderate amount of protein, and mainly from vegetable origin, carbohydrates with a low glycemic load, with almost no simple sugars, high monounsaturated and saturated fatty acid ratio, abundance of calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and low amount of sodium. It also characterized by a high intake of antioxidants, which counteract the harmful effect of free radicals. These include, as example, vitamin C and E, and as well as the polyphenol in extra virgin olive oil and some fruit and vegetable. So while the choice of ingredient is crucial, there are also other aspects that are usually represented as the main pillars of this lifestyle. A daily physical activity, and usually indicated as at least 30 minutes of fast walking a day, drinking plenty of water to ensure proper hydration, the indication to consume local and seasonal products, and which is an aspect that Giuseppina cited before, conviviality while consuming the meal, especially at work, where meals are often eaten quickly in isolation without really enjoying the food. To conclude, those are the 4 fundamentals that we cannot really ignore if we want to adopt this lifestyle and eating pattern of the Mediterranean diet.
Thank you, Francesco. Very interesting point. Thank you so much. So now we would like to know instead, what is the current situation? Which initiatives have already been developed by food professionals to promote the importance of Mediterranean diet-based initiatives to enhance the well-being of employees? Linda, would you like to share with us your opinions?
Hello, yes, thank you, Giusy and Francesco. So we've heard from them both about the key philosophical and nutritional concepts behind the Mediterranean diet. Now let's look at some of the practical ways in which employers can enhance workplace well-being based on the provision of Mediterranean food offerings. It's clear that the Mediterranean diet, with its focus on whole grains, legumes, nuts, and an abundance of fruits and vegetables, along with moderate amounts of eggs, dairy, poultry, and fish, and small amounts of red meat, is beneficial for overall health. But it's not only, as we've already heard, it's not only physical health that can benefit from such an approach. The Mediterranean diet is recognized by UNESCO as part of humanity's intangible cultural heritage, a key aspect of which is the importance of commensuality, of building social connections, which we know are protective in terms of our mental well-being. Dining with colleagues in a workplace facility is one way of meeting this very basic human need. The principles of this plant-focused dining can be applied in countries that have very different climatic conditions and do not necessarily have access to those Mediterranean ingredients. This has been very successfully demonstrated by Chef René Redzepi of Noma, along with his business partner Klaus Meyer, with the introduction of the new Nordic diet. Reducing meat on the menu makes room for more vegetables, legumes, fruits, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and herbs. And Noma have not only carried out this function in the Nordic region, they've taken the principle with pop-up restaurants around the world, applying the idea of traditional, often indigenous ingredients and dishes, incorporating those into the menus in places as far afield as Mexico, Australia, and Japan. The principles identified in the selection of these foods are that they should be easy to love, easy to get hold of, easy to make, and easy to afford. So there's an economic aspect there as well. In a workplace setting, some of the most successful initiatives have included focusing on eating the rainbow, ensuring that we then have a wide variety of different plants with all sorts of different phytochemicals, because those are actually the colors of the foods. Including underutilized local plant foods. For example, there are Carlin peas in the UK, leafy greens, including beetroot and carrot tops, or algae in coastal areas. These are all starting to appear on the table. Sodexo, the food service provider, have incorporated many of these foods into their practices in countries throughout Europe and in the US. Mix and match menus actually allow diners to have more choice, so they can add or subtract dishes or sauces, so they can actually take ownership and they can decide to reduce their fat intake or increase it, and increase possibly their intake of fruit and vegetables. A similar approach can be taken with the salad bar, ensuring that salads are dressing free, giving the diners the choice, and also offering bouillon-based vegetable-rich soups rather than cream soups. In fact, even the dessert trolley or baked good basket can have a makeover. Walter Willett of Harvard School of Public Health and the Culinary Institute of America have identified what is called the 3 pleasures. These are foods that help to contribute those polyphenols, those antioxidants, and different vitamins and minerals into the diet, still enjoying a sweet treat. So the 3 pleasures are dark chocolate with a minimum cocoa solids of 70%, different fruits, and different nuts. So these can be the principal ingredients in health promoting desserts. And chefs have been inspired to produce relatively low fat desserts that fulfill the need to finish a meal with a sweet treat. From the baked goods basket, fudgy chocolate brownies with prunes, zucchini, tomato or carrot cake, whole bran muffins sweetened with apple sauce are all examples of this trend. So these are just some of the creative ways in which food professionals are using traditional, regional ingredients and dishes in line with the principles of the Mediterranean diet, and are therefore able to contribute to the general health and well-being of the workforce.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you. So we now heard and we now discuss all our opinions. So I would like just to finish off our discussion today to ask you a question. So we just learned from Linda how food professionals started already to develop healthy initiatives based on Mediterranean diet. But we seem to understand that more work is still needed to use this initiative on a daily basis. So just a suggestion, in your opinion, what can a manager of an organization do to further speed up such transformation process toward healthy eating in the workplace? Linda, would you like to answer the question?
Yes, certainly. I think that there's a process of educating the diners. So putting the information out there, informing them perhaps at the beginning of the week what's planned for the weekly menu, so that they can actually plan their intake, perhaps based on what else they're doing, what else they're going to consume during the week. And then actually putting the information, nutritional information on that menu, and then with sort of signposts indicating what is plant focused, what is a good source of different nutrients, and the same at the point of decision or point of purchase. Actually having signposts to indicate if you're interested in a vegetarian or vegan meal today, this is what we have on offer. So just really informing the diners.
Thank you, Francesco. Would you like to add something to this answer?
Yes, absolutely. I agree about the education and more information about the product. I think also that sometimes menu offering in the workplace try to follow some of the latest trend that maybe don't use a local and seasonal product. And another really important change is to start considering cereal, legumes, and pulses, and of course, not refined, as a key element of main courses and not just a side dish to elaborate meat and fishes preparations.
Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Linda. So now I would like just to summarize the main points that we discussed today. So the concept of Mediterranean diet finds its origins in antiquity, and it is we learn how, for sure, even today, the Mediterranean diet, with its offering of a wide variety of plant-based food and only a moderate quantity of meat, is for sure a way of supporting healthy nutrition. In organization, managers need to be involved in this transformation process toward healthy eating. And finally, us, individuals and employees, together with managers, needs to keep educating ourselves about the science of nutrition, because as education empowers people to make better informed decisions. So let me thank our experts for their contribution today, Mr. Francesco Garsari and Ms. Linda Pashmo. I would like to thank our audience. We hope you enjoy our discussion and you found some inspiration on how to further enhance the well-being within your organization. Thank you very much.